Alright, Cashless Society here again today, bringing you another video on the inevitable world of digital assets, and let's jump right into it. So today's going to be about this video, or basically World Economic Forum in general, and how they've been calling for a great reset. And first clip I'm going to show you was an actual video that they put out themselves earlier this month, basically calling for a great reset around the globe. So let's take a look. Alright, so basically what's going on is, for a while now, basically dating back to 2014, we've heard this term, need for a global reset being tossed around, and globalists are calling for it. They've got plans in place to execute it, and up to this point now, they're actually starting to bring the narrative out to the public. So, but it's been in the works for a while. Next up, I want to show you a couple clips from Epic Economist. If you want to follow them on YouTube, they are not crypto blockchain centric, but they do mention it. They started to mention it more and more lately. I believe that they build their videos off of Zero Hedge articles as well. So, but yeah, so this entire video is basically talking about the call for a global reset and different discussions that have taken place at the World Economic Annual event that takes place in Davos every year. So, just show you a couple clips right here.
In 2019, the World Economic Forum's annual meeting had the theme Globalization 4.0, shaping a new architecture in the age of the fourth industrial revolution. Again, Klaus Schwab was predicting that our systems of health, transportation, communication, production, distribution, and energy, just to name a few, will be completely transformed. He specifically mentioned blockchain and distributed ledger technology, both of which added fuel to the push towards a global digital currency network.
All right. So that's talking about the executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. His name is Klaus Schwab. And, that clip was just talking about how he sees a fourth industrial revolution is coming, and it's going to involve digital assets and blockchain. All right. And what's funny about all this is Epic Economist, I've been following them for a couple of years now, and a lot of their material has made fun of cryptocurrency and digital assets up to this point, calling it like funny money and stuff like that. And then now, obviously, their videos are leaning towards that. So everyone's starting to get on board. But let's take a look at another clip as well.
When launching the hub, BIS General Manager Augustin Carstens used phrases such as reshaping the financial landscape in response to the scars left by the financial crisis. According to Carstens, the central banking world needed a dramatic restructuring. When taking a deeper look into the project, the core of it appears to be the creation of a central bank digital currency, which would allow for long-standing legal tender like banknotes and coins to be pushed out in favor of digital currencies distributed by the central banking system. As cryptocurrencies rise in popularity and in use, more individuals may begin to consider the risks and weaknesses of traditional fiat currencies that are not backed by gold or silver.
All right, so let's take a look at the article that this video is actually based on. So they talk about in this article how the World Economic Forum has been calling for a global reset for, dating back to 2014 now at this point. So as it says here, each January, the World Economic Forum hosts their annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland. And in 2014, Christine Lagarde, who is then the managing director of the IMF, called for a reset of monetary policy, the financial sector, regulatory environment, and structural reforms of global economies. So, how does this all tie in with XRP? As you might have seen this clip as well, I've showed it before. Let's take a look at Christine Lagarde's opinion on blockchain and digital assets right now.
So I think that the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto assets, currencies, or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago, that is clearly shaking the system. The voice that we heard, which was, I thought, really interesting, were those of the regulators and central bank governors who said, well, yes, this is good and this is helpful, and it is changing the business model of commercial banks. But we have to be mindful of two things: trust and stability of the system. And we are equally concerned, we at the IMF, about stability. We don't want innovation that would shake the system so much that we would lose the stability that is needed.
All right. So she basically just said that it's not Bitcoin, and it's the new disruptors that we're seeing now, that they want to incorporate one that they can trust, not the other way around, not one that would basically destroy the system as it is. And just to, what do we got here? Oh, yeah, so this is a picture of Brad Garlinghouse in Switzerland with Christine Lagarde right there at a table of, some people he was presenting some ideas with Ripple on. And, as you can see here, Satoshi Nakamoto is not at this table, and neither is Vitalik, right? It's Brad Garlinghouse. And he's not just there by accident, right? Why is he there? So I don't know how more obvious this could get then. So I'm just trying to paint the picture for you guys. So let's get back to the article. So 2014, Christine Lagarde is calling for the Great Reset. What happens in 2015? So 2015, the big deal was this unveiling of the United Nations derived Agenda 2030. So taking a look at this, what is this actually about? So it's basically, let's read it real quick. So yeah, basically there's 17 main objectives that they're trying to accomplish here, known as the Sustainable Development Goals. So let's take a look at what those goals actually are. So they say they want to end poverty, zero hunger, they want to have good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production. One thing to note there, Bitcoin mining takes up about 1% of global electricity energy up to this point. So I'm not sure that Bitcoin really fits into that responsible consumption at this point. But we'll see. Maybe they'll find a way to mine Bitcoin with green energy. So, not to knock it fully there, but just something to note. Also, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions and partnerships. Okay, so this is cool and all, but what it really reminded me of is this policy idea that came out in the 90s called the NESARA announcement. So this stands for the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. It's very interesting because a lot of the points that they make on here are basically the stuff that you see on this Sustainable Development Goals. So they call for forgiving credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities, abolishing the income tax, abolish the IRS, create a flat rate, non-essential new items only sales tax revenue for government. They want to increase benefits to senior citizens, return to constitutional law, establish new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days of the Nasara announcement. It would monitor elections and prevent illegal election activities or special interest groups. One thing to note there, if we move to a blockchain-based voting system, that will basically, so we'll do all of our voting online, no mail-in voting, of course, and no voting in person because, this pandemic that's going on, right? We need to move to an online voting system that's blockchain-based and can never have fraud, basically. This is just really interesting. And also, so it says that the move would be to create a new U.S. Treasury currency, a rainbow currency, backed by gold, silver, and platinum precious metals, return to constitutional law to all courts and legal matters, initiate new U.S. Treasury bank system in alignment with constitutional law, eliminates the Federal Reserve System. Very interesting point there, too, because right now Trump is basically the head of the Federal Reserve because of everything that's happened with this pandemic as well. And they've been putting laws in place that is allowing the Federal Reserve to bring really risky assets onto the balance sheet, as well as, just pumping money out, stimulus after stimulus. You're going to see another one this year, maybe 2, 3. Just this crazy printing. It looks as though they have a back door, right? And here, in the 90s, talking about eliminating the Federal Reserve System. Maybe this has been a plan forever and they're finally putting it into place. Who knows? It's just crazy. But yeah, so they say they were going to restore financial privacy as well. That's one that I don't really see how they could do with blockchain, because that kind of just shows where every transaction is moving at around the world. I don't know, maybe they would have privacy transactions put onto the blockchain as an added security layer. Who knows? What else do we got here? Retains all judges and attorneys in constitutional law, ceases all aggressive U.S. government military action worldwide, establishes peace throughout the world. Once again, that sounds a lot like the Sustainable Development Goals. Where were we at? Okay, initiates first phase of worldwide prosperity, distribution of vast wealth, which has been accumulating for many decades. Interesting. Sounds like a global reset, right? Release enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. Enables the release of new technologies such as alternative energy devices. So yeah, this is just crazy. I feel like this all ties together somehow. But yeah, pretty interesting video here. Once again, this, it just, if you just dig a little deeper, it really looks like Ripple's involved. Who knows how? Who knows if XRP is supposed to be this rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum precious metals? It could be, because just the other day as well, the hearing that took place with the government concerning the digital dollar being rolled out, when asked if it would be a government only or if it would be government and private sector as well that creates it, they stated that the government cannot do it on their own. They don't have the technology. They don't have the ability. So it would have to be, a government and private sector partnership to roll out a new monetary system. So I could really see XRP being the center of all of this, backed by, gold, silver, platinum, whatever. And then you can also launch central bank digital currencies on the XRP ledger. And they can do it within seconds, they've already said. So that's the direction I see it going. we'll see how it all plays out. But it's getting very interesting, and all signs are pointing to a global financial reset. Basically, they're calling for it, and it's gonna come. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, like as always, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I just love putting these videos out. I really want everyone to be able to see the picture of what's going on. Make sure to inform your friends and family and try to get on the right side of wrong. Whoever knows what's going to happen here, at least be aware of what's going on. That's the least I could ask. So, yep. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and share with your friends and family. Thanks.